Acha, okay, I'm ready. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Rajni, I'm very happy that we have this opportunity to talk. You can tell me about your platform and are you doing? Are you into English teaching full time, or you have some other kind of engagement and it is a kind of hobby? Let me know. Tell me about yourself, Rajni. Hmm.
Yes, sir. So, as you know, my name is Rajni Verma. I am from Shri Ganganagar, Rajasthan, which is on the border of Punjab. And
Good.
currently, I'm living in Jaipur. And it's, you can say, it's my hobby to do conversations with different people because I consider myself as a learner. So, I'm learning this language. So, like, while learning, I want to add some value to the other people's life also. Like, they don't have the environment for
Mhm.
practice and they don't have partner to practice with, so that's why I do conduct these kind of sessions and I upload on my YouTube channel. Yeah. And if I
Oh,
talk about my graduation, I have done my graduation in Korean language from JNU, New Delhi. And
wonderful.
currently, I am learning digital marketing and all that. So it is not a kind of like I am teaching English or not, not like this. I am just doing conversations, and because of that, like I got the exposure in JNU itself. Like people do speak in English there, and I had the environment to listen a lot that time. I wasn't good at that time. I wasn't even able to speak English, good English. I have started speaking in English in August 2022. It's been, I guess, 9 or 10 months only. So
Wonderful.
that's why I do this to just, and it helps people. It help people on YouTube also, like while listening to conversations. That's why I do this.
Wonderful, Rajni, wonderful. Very interesting, very interesting. In fact, any language doesn't require any formal training, for example. See, I have taught English for 50 years. Uh, 30 for 35 years I was in DAV College, Chandigarh. I taught English in DAV College. It is one of the best institutions in North India, and I retired as head of the Department of English. And my experience is that any language can be very easily learned. My model, for example, whenever I'm interacting with my learners, I tell them, look here, your model should be a small baby born to any language group. That baby doesn't undergo any special training. Naturally, spontaneously, without any special effort, that child becomes a master of communication. And if you do the two things that happen to that child, you can learn any language. And what are those two things? Those two things are that you are to continuously be linked into some source of language. Because, see, English for us is an alien language. We do not have any context to speak English. For example, at our homes, among our friends, in the market, or even in colleges and schools, we don't often speak in English. So then what we can do? We can ourselves plug into a source of English through reading some good English every day. But see, the first thing that I tell my learners is that they have to work on their vocabulary. 70% of their task, if you want to learn English, is that daily they should acquire new and new words. See, as a matter of interest. And for that, there are so much literature on the internet. So interesting stories are there. There are fables, there are parables, there are folk tales, inspirational stories. So you read for 20 minutes every day. Enjoy the story, follow the idea, and at the same time, take notice of new interesting words. And 70% task is done. So this is the first thing that I always suggest to my learners. And then, Rajni, I have the grammar problem I have solved. I have solved it in a very easy manner. You'd be surprised, and this is a big hurdle. This is a big kind of challenge for the vernacular speakers also. Hindi Punjabi speaking people. I'm a Punjabi. We have such a phobia, such a fear of English grammar. And grammar, it looks as if learning language is a fight. And I have solved this problem because I passed myself through such a kind of training, because I lived in a village for 22 years and my training was not top slot. So because I myself face those problems, so I have solved this problem. Okay, how we can master the whole grammar without discussing grammar at all. This is my system. So this system is called vernacular bridge course to learn English. So this is what I have done. And incidentally, you are in Jaipur. See, there is a publication, online publication, Jaipur Paper Towns. They have they have brought out my book, and it is available on the Amazon. It has a Hindi version and it has a Punjabi version. If you just Google search vernacular bridge course to learn English, at once you get my books over there on the Amazon. So this is what I have done. I have in a very new and interesting manner, I had solved the problem of English grammar. Whole grammar is covered without any conscious discussion of the grammar. This is what I have done. So being a teacher of English, I'm aware what grammar is. Grammar, for example, grammar is tense, grammar is active passive voice, grammar is narration, grammar is parts of speech, determiners, qualifiers, phrases, non-finite verbs, clauses, modals. I'm aware. All this is covered even without discussing it consciously and laboriously in my classes. Now, now you can ask any question because I have started speaking myself like it is a lecture. In fact, we are talking to one another. Yes, now this is, I claim that I have solved the problem of English learning in a very interesting manner. This is what I
Mhm.
claim.
Sir, I absolutely admire this method, and but there is a question in my mind. Like you have said, like you should consider yourself as a baby. So it applies on the students who are in schools, who are in colleges. They have ample amount of time, like they can do complete this journey in 2 years or in 1 year. But the people who have to get a job within a month, and people like housewives, they need to attend like parents teacher meeting, so they need to acquire this skill very quickly, like they want to grab everything in a month. So how they go with
Yeah.
this concept, like considering herself a baby?
Very easy. No, very easy. No, for example, no. So the first suggestion that I have made regarding daily work on interesting English words, that is that anybody can do that very simply. है ना? For example, any housewife, even anybody who is interested in learning English, he should first work on English words. And Rajni, I'm surprised. I often ask even the teachers, can you share with me the last English word that you learned these days? And I'm surprised that even teachers sometimes have not picked up a new word for the last 2 or 3 months. This is our habit. We Indians, we are sitting, we have no link with the language. We sit with our doors shut to English words and we dream of mastering English. So this is the first thing I tell them: open your doors. Open your doors to English words. And this can be done in a very interesting manner. Any housewife, she can start with reading. So, for example, you know that there is a book, Aesop's Fable, and this is the book that I normally use for the beginners. It is a book of about 120 stories. I will share it with you on your WhatsApp group, the WhatsApp number. So it's a Aesop, it's a writer, Aesop, Aesop's Fables. It's a book of 120 stories and very small stories, 10 line, 6 lines, 7 lines, hardly a story that stretches over a page. So any housewife can, before going to sleep, she can read the story, enjoy the story, and she must now take notes of new interesting words, because words are going to solve her problem. And I'm suggesting a way of learning words in a very interesting manner, in a very entertaining manner. So this is what anybody can do. Now come to the second part. The second part is that grammar, we shouldn't discuss grammar at all. The idea that I have discovered now, this is the idea that I want you to grasp. The idea is that throughout, see, and it came to me after a long kind of experience of teaching a language. See, I discovered, whichever language you are speaking, you might be speaking Hindi, might be speaking Punjabi, might be speaking English, even Chinese. Rajni, basically, throughout your life, you use only 8 structures. Now, this is very important. Try to absorb. See, what I'm claiming that whatever we talk, whatever we listen to, whatever we talk about, whatever we read, or whatever we write throughout our life, time and again, we are using only a set of 8 different structures. There is no ninth sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree? There is no ninth sentence in the language. your image has suddenly become static. Is there some problem? Up to now, I have told you that see, one thing we talked about learning words every day, understand? And another thing that I want to share with you, that to speak English successfully all over the world, you need only 2000 words. This is another fact, that any person who wants to learn English, that person must tell themselves that the problem is very easy. We need to learn only 2000 words, and we are competent to speak English all over the world. So words part I have explained very clearly. Okay. Acha, now come to the second part. The difficult part is that people believe that if they want to write English or speak English, they need to learn a lot of grammar. That problem have solved. That problem has been solved because of this idea. The idea is that throughout your life, you have to speak only uh, a set of eight different sentences. That's all. There is no ninth sentence. So throughout your life, you speak only eight sentences. But you are
Mhm.
not aware. Time and again, whatever you're talking, whatever you're listening to, whatever you're writing, or whatever you're reading, what you are doing, you
Mhm.
are only using a set of eight sentences. There is no ninth sentence, Rajni. This is my discovery. And my learner can very easily see. You know why my system is called bridge course. You see, on the one hand, there are eight structures that my learner knows in the mother tongue. He already, the
Oh.
person, very naturally, that person is using those eight structures again and again, or
Mhm.
in their own mother tongue. They're using it already, understand? So these are called structures, eight structures. And what do? I first of all make them aware of these eight structures. The difference is how one structure is different from the other. I make them aware of this fact in their mother tongue alone. See, this is very important in my system. One is required to work on the exact, on the precise identification of mother tongue, eight mother tongue structures. And once that person has become aware that these are the structure
Mhm.
that I'm using in my mother tongue, I at once start helping him to say those structures with the help of English verb patterns. So on one hand, there are eight structures, and on the other hand, there are eight verb patterns. That's all. He is to bridge the gap. He is to start using those verb patterns to say those sentences in English. And it starts from day one in my classes. And any housewife, only eight structures. There is no nine structure. So she can very easily work on those eight structures, and she can start saying them in English, and the problem is solved. That's all. This is how I've
Mhm.
solved the problem. No grammar. Grammar will very neatly, brick by brick, grammar will build up in the background perfectly, I can assure you. I already listed for you all the grammar. That grammar, in my experience, always builds up in the background once you simply work on those eight structures, mother tongue
Mhm.
structure. And you can just, you yourself can check, Rajni, just now. You speak any sentence, and I will tell you that it falls in one of those categories. You can try, speak out any sentence, and that sentence, which, what do I do when I'm talking to the teachers? I ask them to speak out all the sentences. For example, see, sometimes I do those orientation programs for English teachers. On day one,
Mhm.
I ask them to speak out all the sentences they know already. And you know they most of the time they only list six sentences. Two sentences that are available in my system, they never talk about. So so those two sentences in my system, they figure in on the very first day, understand? So Rajni, can you just give some effort to this this idea? Do you agree with me that we never speak more than eight sentences? You agree with me or not? First of all, let us see.
I would like to agree with you, but you have experience of 50 years, and I have experience of only 10 months, so I cannot totally say like. But if you have 50 years experience and you are sharing, you have learned everything, you observed everything, then it would be, I guess, the right one that you are saying. There are eight sentences we use every day.
Yes, there are eight sentences. If you wish, I can just see in our mother tongue, for example, in Hindi. I
Yeah.
can speak out those 8 sentences in Hindi, for example. Huh? Let me share those 8 sentences with you. Suppose we are talking about a teacher. Suppose we are talking about a teacher. So in Hindi, what kind of sentences I use about a teacher? I'll say like this कि वो एक अध्यापक है. Number one, उसके पास पुस्तकें हैं. Now look,
Mm-hmm.
the first sentence is different from the first sentence. वो एक अध्यापक है. दूसरा है उसके पास पुस्तकें. तीसरा वो एक कॉलेज में पढ़ाता है. तीसरा एंड फोर्थ सेंटेंस इज कि वो अच्छा पढ़ा रहा है, बहुत अच्छा पढ़ा रहा है. फोर्थ सेंटेंस. एंड फिफ्थ इज कि उसने अपनी लाइब्रेरी बना ली है. उसने अपनी लाइब्रेरी बना ली है. और सिक्स्थ इज उसने अभी और किताबें खरीदनी है. उसने अभी और पुस्तकें खरीदनी है. एंड देन सेवन सेंटेंसेस कि उसे पुस्तकों पर पैसे खर्च करने पड़ते हैं. और द लास्ट सेंटेंस इज वो ये पैसे आसानी से खर्च कर सकता है. Now look at these. Now see these. This is a list of my sentences. I have a nomenclature for them. I have named them. For example, the first category is things. What do we call them? Thing sentences. When I describe only, well, see, he's a teacher, he was a farmer, he will be a shopkeeper. Such sentences are called thing sentences because you are describing somebody. And the second category is possession sentences. Possession. You are suggesting that somebody is having something. वो अध्यापक है, दिस वाज थिंग्स. उसके पास पुस्तकें हैं, दिस इज पोजेशन. And from here now the proper activity sentences start. Activity sentences, and there are three main forms of activity. Simple activity, when you are simply sharing things. Continuing activity, when you are talking about the activity that is going on. And then perfect activity, the activity that is completed in a given moment. So getting back to our example, वो एक अध्यापक है, ये थिंग्स था. उसके
Mm-hmm.
पास पुस्तकें, ये पोजेशन है. वो बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाता है, दिस इज सिंपल. वो और वो एक कॉलेज में पढ़ा रहा है, दिस इज कंटिन्यूइंग. और उसने अपनी लाइब्रेरी बना ली है, दिस इज परफेक्ट activities. I'm not talking about any tense, for example. Slightly there is some commonness in the terminology, but I am strictly focusing on the kind of activity that you must identify. For example, when I simply sharing things with you, कि मैं कल सुबह उठा, सैर के लिए गया, पार्क में बैठा, सूरज को उदय हुए देखा, तो आई एम सिंपली शेयरिंग माय पास्ट सिंपल आई एम सिंपली शेयरिंग माय पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस विद यू. So simply sharing is simple activity. Simply sharing. Understand? And then talking about the activity that was going on at the moment when you were talking, this is continuing activity. And then the activity that was completed. For example, उसने अपनी लाइब्रेरी बना ली है. उसने उसने बहुत सा ज्ञान अर्जित कर लिया है. और उसने बहुत बच्चों को पढ़ा चुका है, वगैरह वगैरह. द एक्टिविटीज दैट आर सो फिर गेटिंग बैक टू एग्जांपल, ही इज अ टीचर, दिस इज थिंग्स. तो उसके पास पुस्तकें हैं, ये क्या है? वो अध्यापक है, ये थिंग्स है. उसके पास पुस्तकें हैं, ये पोजेशन है. वो एक कॉलेज में पढ़ाता है, दिस इज सिंपल. वो अच्छा पढ़ा रहा है, दिस इज कंटिन्यू. उसने अपनी लाइब्रेरी बना ली है, दिस इज परफेक्ट. Now look at the sixth and seventh category. And this is the achievement of my system, because it achieves more than the grammar. For example, ये जो 6 sentences कि उसने अभी और पुस्तकें खरीदनी है, और उसे पुस्तकों और पैसे खर्च करने पड़ते हैं. Look at these two categories that we use every day. Now you just let me know कि whether these two sentences are taught under any tense. मुझे बताओ रजनी, ये मुझे बताओ, ये 2 सेंटेंस जो हैं कि उसने अभी और किताबें खरीदनी है, और उससे किताबें खरीदने पे पैसे खर्च करने पड़ते हैं. मुझे बताओ ये कौन से टेंस में, ये 2 सेंटेंस कोई टेंस में पढ़ाता है कहीं पे? मुझे बताओ जाए, बताओ. यू जस्ट रिकॉल. वो जो ग्रामर थी, जो टेंस पढ़ाए जाते हैं, वो एक तो सिंपल होता है, फिर वो कॉन्टिन्यूइंग होता है, कॉन्टिन्यूअस होता है, फिर परफेक्ट होता है, फिर परफेक्ट कॉन्टिन्यूअस होता है. तो मुझे बताओ ये सेंटेंस कहाँ पे आपको कोई पढ़ाता है किसी को कि उसने किताबें खरीदनी है और उससे पैसे खर्च करने पड़ते हैं. सो दिस इज द एडिशनल बेनिफिट ऑफ माय सिस्टम, कि मुझे पता है कि ये जो दोनों सेंटेंस है ना, लेटर ऑन अ गुड स्पीकर ऑफ इंग्लिश spontaneously acquires the understanding of these structures later on. But the people who teach grammar in schools and colleges, they never tackle these two sentences. So in my system, on day one, I add these two structures also. And now this sixth structure कि उसने अभी और किताबें खरीदनी है, I have named it intention. These are intention sentences. In my list, this category is intention sentences. फॉर एग्जाम्पल देखो ना, आप दिन में हाउ मेनी टाइम यू से कि आज आज मेरे एक दोस्त ने आना है, हमने लंच करना है, फिर हमने फिल्म देखनी है, फिर हमने रात को बहुत सी बातें करनी है. लुक एट दिस दीज आर इंटेंशन सेंटेंसेस, दैट्स ऑल. अच्छा, तो इसके लिए वर्ब पैटर्न मैंने तभी बता देता हूं कि जो प्रेजेंट में होता है इज एम आर प्लस टू प्लस वी वन. A friend is to visit me tomorrow. We are to take a lunch in a hotel. Then we are to see a movie, and then like this. So ये this is the verb pattern. अच्छा, अब जो नेक्स्ट सेंटेंस है, सेवन सेंटेंस, वो है कंपल्शन. कंपल्शन है कि उसे किताबों पर पैसे खर्च करने पड़ते हैं. नो, दिस इज अ कंपल्शन सेंटेंस. देखो ना, जब मैं कहता हूं कि मुझे सुबह उठना पड़ता है, ठंडे पानी से नहाना पड़ता है, साइकिल चलाना पड़ता है, दिस इज कंपल्शन. So I have named it compulsion. And what is the verb pattern? Present में has, have plus two plus V1. I have to get up in the morning. I have to take bath in cold water, and then I have to cycle up to my workplace. So ये दो कैटेगरी जो है ना, ये मेरे सिस्टम में this is the sixth and the seventh sentence. और लास्ट कैटेगरी होती है मॉडल्स. मॉडल्स को लोग अंग्रेजी के टीचर मिस प्रोनाउंस करते हैं, वो इसे मोडेल या मोडाल कहते हैं. इट इज अ मिस प्रोनाउंसिएशन इन इंडिया. दिस वर्ड इज ओनली प्रोनाउंस्ड एज मॉडल. मॉडल. Modals are mood verbs, and you have only limited number of them. For example, shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must. So these are mood verbs. They add moods to the statements. Understand? So getting back to our example, कि वो एक अध्यापक है, thinks, उसके पास पुस्तकें हैं, पोजेशन. वो एक कॉलेज में पढ़ाता है, सिंपल. वो अच्छा पढ़ा रहा है, कॉन्टिन्यू. उसने अपनी लाइब्रेरी बना ली है, परफेक्ट. उसने अभी और किताबें खरीदनी है, इंटेंशन. उसे किताबों में पैसे खर्च करने पड़ते हैं, कंपल्शन. वो पैसे खर्च कर सकता है, मॉडल. नाउ जस्ट लेट मी नो, can you think of a sentence about the teacher that does not fit into these eight categories? Rajni, just try. Think of a sentence that doesn't fit in these eight categories. Think of any sentence about a teacher. Give freedom, full freedom to your imagination, and think of a sentence, and I will tell you, here it is. Yes, make an effort. Think of any sentence.
I think we have covered everything about a teacher. A teacher acquires knowledge.
Simple.
This is again simple. Yeah, again simple. Yeah.
This is simple. Yeah. He is fond of. Look at, think of any sentence. He is an expert in the latest field of ideas. No, this is a think sentence. Understand?
Yeah.
He likes the technique of magic realism. He likes the technique of magic realism. This is simple. Think of any sentence. So now this is my discovery, Rajni. We never speak a 9 sentence, and it is so easy to master these 8 sentences in a matter of a few. So I have different kinds of programs. For teachers, I have a 7 days program. For example, like housewives, we can have a 3-week program. There is no problem. So it is. I'm doing like this, and because the sentences are only 8 in number, the interested learners pick up these sentences very fast, and they start speaking English. So then I ask them, okay, look here, think of any idea that comes to you in your mother tongue. And since you have mastered the structures, and since you know the words, you can say them easily in English now. That's all. And then later on, I tell them how they have covered grammar step by step. For example, I keep explaining these things to those learners. Now, this is what I have to say about my system. Not just I like to hear some some comments from you or some questions from you if you have any. Let us see.
Sir, first thing I want to tell you is that you have a vast knowledge about this language because you have 50 years of experience and you shared a lot of things with me. And I like the way you express things and the energy you have, still you have in you, like you are trying to spread the knowledge around the world. So I admire that. However, there is still a little questions in my mind, and that is, as you mentioned, like teachers are not getting learning new words and learning new patterns. So how we, like the youth, is gonna have good teachers like you, who can teach them, who can guide us proper in the right path. So nowadays it is really difficult to find a tutor, a good tutor, a good mentor that who can guide us. First thing, and second thing, I want to ask you one thing. As you said, the reading plays a vital role here, so you should read little bit every single day. So there are many people I have talked, I have interacted with many people, and they have this problem. If I suggest them, they start reading even one page if you don't like. They always complain like whenever we start reading, like we feel sleepy. We cannot read even after 5 lines. And
Mhm.
sometimes people say like we don't understand. Even I read 2 pages, I don't understand anything like what I have read already. So what is the solution for that issue?
Rajni, again, what you have to do is, that you have to pick up the material of interest, of course, but then you have to
Right.
keep in mind the level of receptivity of that learner. You are very much right. Now, for example, even the Aesop's fables that I suggest, I know
Mhm.
even there's some people have problems even with understanding those fables. Matlab, see, for example, though they are for the children only. Acha. So then what do I suggest is that we can help those learners pick up the material of their choice. For example, see, first deciding which level of vocabulary they are at present, we can certainly pick up something very interesting for them. That no, I have a lot of stuff here with me. For example, I have two grandsons. My younger grandson is only now 4 years old. Mhm. And already he has a set of books already here. So that I'm simply surprised. And any adult, for example, that adult can make use of that stuff very easily, for example. So number one, we are to now look here. There are two things that people, how do people work? They work because of two things. Either because of fear or because of interest. I
Yeah.
have never engaged, as a teacher, I have never engaged the fear part of the people. I don't want people to fear things. I always engage their interest. I engage their interest always. So, Rajni, what we can do is that, judging the level of our readers, we can pick up certainly something that would interest them, and that
Yes.
they would study. And then there is another thing. Till now I have told you about only written stories that they are to read, but now if you again Google search on the internet, there is a system of teaching English through stories. Understand?
Mhm.
For example, you can, after our interaction is over, you can just look for it, okay, learning English through stories. And when you
Yeah.
when you go, you will find out stories over there. Level 1 stories, level 2 stories, level 3 stories, and those stories are very beautifully narrated by those native English people. So and if my learner cannot read properly, that person can listen to a narrated story. That person can listen to the narrated stories then, and again, with a view to understanding the story and enjoying it, and then acquiring new words. That's all. So for such people, we can pick up narrated stories also. Understand? And then see, when they are reading a story or when they are listening to a story, we should ask them to work on their words. And at the same time, if they have started work on certain, now for example, that let me share it with you, that my book, of course, the Jaipur paper towns, I don't say that anybody should buy that book, because I have I started a YouTube channel last November only, Rajni. So I'll share the link with you. So that program, actually, that is the program for now. See, for example, any learner, suppose
Mhm.
he wants to use my book, he can Google search vernacular bridge course to learn English. The book is there. And now any learner who wants to use my YouTube channel, which is free, of course, I have no charges for that, he can freely subscribe to it. He is to go to the YouTube, and again he is to Google search vernacular bridge course to learn English. So all those videos are there. Huh? So that person is to subscribe free to that, and that person should start working on those structures, learning them one by one. When I prepared that program, I sat down. See, I recorded the whole program. It is a 2.5 hours long program, but neatly it is edited and it is split into 74 small videos. See, average length of a video is only 2 minutes, Rajni. See, if you sit down and you open those videos, you will find out that no video is longer than 2 minutes. That's all. Huh? For example, if my learner wants to know, okay, what are things and tenses, he is to go to their subscribe free, and the first small videos will make totally clear the idea of things. Okay, this is how things, and I have done that program in Hindi. I have done that program deliberately in very simple Hindi. Understand? And the person is simply to subscribe, open it, and then start work on those structures one by one. Now, the first video is introductory, of course, and the next 6 videos, they perfectly make clear the idea of what things and tenses are. How do we speak them in English, and how do we say them in English? Okay, how do we speak them in Hindi, and then how do we see them in English? I'm sorry again. How do we say them in Hindi, and how do we say them in English? The idea is made totally clear in 6 small videos, and then the next 7 videos take up the idea of possession sentences. So, like this, any learner, any housewife sitting at home, subscribing to that channel can start work on those structures one by one every day. And so, two things they are to do. One, they are to either read or listen to a story, acquire words. And second, they are to start work on those structures one by one. And then, when they read a story, they should use the story for learning words, number one. And at the same time, if they have started now understanding the structures, they can find out, they can identify structures in the stories also. Well, see,
Mhm.
this is another exercise work that I give to them. Now, you have read a story, you have heard a story, identify the structures. And they start identifying the structures. And structures are only 8 in number. That's all. So this is how anyone can do it very easily. And again, Rajni, I make an offer to you. Suppose you want to start a group. Now, for example, we now, and this is what I do here. I have so many WhatsApp groups that are working with me. I call my groups ELF. You know, ELF word. Actually, if you look for this word ELF, it is a proper word in English. ELF. It means a small. It is a small creature in fairy tales. This elf. It is called elf. Elf is a very small elf. It is a small, mysterious, yes, small, mischievous character in fairy tales. It is called elf. But my groups are called elves. ELF, English Learners Fraternity. I call it English Learners Fraternity. Fraternity, आप जानते हो भाईचारा. Okay. So I make WhatsApp groups. So what you can do is you can form your own. Look, how many? By the way, for how long have you been working on this channel? How long is it now that you are working?
I have
How long?
started just
Uh,
last year, 2022.
Acha, and how many subscribers are there up to now who are in touch with you? How many of them?
Now 2.5, around
Two.
2.5.
Okay. Now what can we do is that we can, Rajni, I can come on your live programs with your learners. For example, suppose you fortnightly or monthly you organize a live program with them. Let us meet on the Google Meet or somewhere that you decide. Okay, and I'm there. Let us field their questions. And again, this is what we can do. We can do that. See, you all your followers, see if they are interested in using this system. I am there to help them in 2 ways. Number one, form a WhatsApp group for them. WhatsApp group, and let us work on daily basis. Whoever writes anything over there, I do have a look at it every evening. Understand? So you can form a WhatsApp group, ELF, for example, your ELF Ganganagar, something like that. Okay, and also weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, we can have live kind of interactions with our learners on Google Meet or wherever you decide. I'm there. Okay, I'm there to help. And because Rajni, I have a goal. I'm a goal for which I'm working. I have a goal that very soon we should get syllabic changes made in boards. For example, i'm for I'm for introducing my system into board syllabuses, because this a problem solver. It takes away huge loads of burden from poor students' shoulders. This is what I'm doing. And you can be a wonderful partner. You are sitting over there, and we can work it. And I am not into it for no, let me make another thing clear to you. I'm not into it for money, for any kind of, that is, I'm not for that. I wish to change radically the way of teaching English in our parts. Okay, now you are now already, in Uttar Pradesh. I have already had such conversation with 2 or 3 people. The idea is introduced over there. Now this is my first interaction with somebody sitting in Rajasthan, and it is a fertile land for planting our idea. Okay, so you are there.
Yeah.
So number one, I'll send you the link, proper link also for of that channel. So when you post this interaction, do mention that link over there so that anybody can
Yeah.
subscribe. Okay. So and then I will also send you the links for my those two books that are available. But see, before books, ask the people to subscribe to this channel and start working with those small videos. They make everything amply clear and it is free. They do not need to spend even a penny. Okay. So
Right, sir.
this is how we can proceed, and I'm there. You are most welcome. Make any programs, and we have each one of you have my number, I have your number, and we are there. And if you intend to know, for example, my impression is that people who have been to JNU, they are very intelligent people, and they believe in making change. They are change
Yes.
makers. They are change
Indeed,
makers.
yeah.
I had I know people from old times, and my friends, some of them have taught in JNU. They have taught in JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Understand? So okay, it's a group of very intelligent people, though there are controversies, of course. Matlab, see, that is our, I should say, that is the bad luck of the country, that people are treating each other as enemies and they are out to probably pounce upon each other. See, that is something very bad. Anyhow, but overall, it's a group of very intelligent people, and those people, they believe in making change also. So let us make a change. Rajasthan is your territory, and I'm there to help you. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Thank you so much, sir. I'm so delighted to talk to you today, and I am just inspired by you. Like after having this much of teaching experience, and you are trying to spread the knowledge around the world now, and it is just for the change, not for the sake of money. It's for a change. So I really, really admire that, and thank you so much for joining the session today, sir.
Okay, Rajni, when you post it, send me the link. Okay. and
Yes,
uh, And I'm sending you the links for those books and that YouTube channel. Share it with people when you post the video. Okay. So
okay,
and we will stay in touch now continuously.
fine.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
God bless you. It was for me also. It was such a joy to talk to you. Okay. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you.